The edamame we planted has finally produced fruit. I didn't expect it to grow so quickly in just a few days. I transplanted it into a pot. This plant grows as fast as wild grass. It just keeps growing non-stop. On the 23rd day, I was surprised to find that it actually grew small. Edamame, though. It was unexpected that it produced fruit so quickly. I didn't think the flowers of edamame would be so small. The plant had become very lush. The underside of the leaves was full of small pods. On the 40th day, the underside of the leaves was full of edamame. By the 46th day, the leaves started turning yellow. It seemed like the edamame was ready for harvest. It was quite plump. And just a few days later, a string of pods had turned yellow. On the 60th day, the leaves were almost all gone. The pods were all black now. They had also dried out. So, I cut them down. I removed the dried pods to see what was inside. I squeezed open the pods, and they were filled with dried yellow soybeans. In the end, this was my first time growing edamame in a pot at home, and I'd say it was a success. A few months ago, I planted some sprouted potatoes in a pot. I didn't expect that after a month, they actually grew. At the time, I just cut this potato in half. There were 2 buds on top. I thought I would divide it into 2 plants. I left it to dry out the cut surfaces, because if you plant it directly, it's easy to rot. Once the cut surface dried out, it was ready for planting. I just buried the potato in the soil. Finally, I watered it thoroughly, then I just had to wait patiently for it to grow. After 15 days, one of the plants had poked its little head out. Then, it just kept growing faster and faster. It's been a month since planting, and this one has grown many branches already. To help it grow better, the potato needs time to grow. Once it starts producing potatoes, I'll dig it out and show you the progress. Next, let's take a look at the okra I planted. I took out the seeds inside and wrapped them in a paper towel to germinate. After a week, I opened the paper towel and saw that only 1 seed had sprouted. I planted the little sprout in a paper cup to grow. Then, it slowly grew to true leaves. On the 35th day, I suddenly noticed that the okra had flower buds. After that, the leaves kept getting bigger. On the 45th day, it looked like a welcoming pine tree. Up close, there were 5 or 6 flower buds. A few days later, the buds were about to open. A week later, I lifted the leaves and saw that the little plant had actually started producing okra, and it was 2 pieces. The 2 pieces of okra slowly grew bigger. By the 65th day, it had stopped growing much. I noticed that many small particles had appeared on the okra stems. I don't know what they're for. On the 75th day, both pieces of okra had dried up. Inside were the seeds of the okra. On the 80th day, the pot had grown lush with branches and leaves. Both pieces of okra had completely dried up, but new flower buds had grown at the top. I cut off the 2 old okra pieces. They looked like 2 chilies. I opened a crack, and inside were the okra seeds. These 2 had produced a handful of seeds. Looks like I can plant a whole acre next year.